Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to welcome you to yet again another episode of Facebook Live in the Vitality Hub. We should probably have a show for this name. This just occurred to me. So please, if you're here or if you're watching this later on as a recording, put some comments in the notes like, what name do you think would be an awesome name for this experience? Because then it would be so fun to say, hey, welcome to Vitality Talks with Chana Mason. Maybe that would be it. In any case, I'm really excited to welcome Dr. Ozzy to our show. I met Dr. Ozzy how long ago? Gosh, like almost 20 years ago, when we were first in Israel and building families together. And they actually lived around the corner here in central Jerusalem. And it became very clear that we're both people on a spiritual path. But our spiritual paths haven't really crossed again until actually the past few years, when we just keep kind of bumping into each other and finding that our desires and our focus of growth and seeking abundance and incredible manifestation in our lives is really coming together. And the point when that just exploded was when Dr. Ozzy decided to start creating mastermind groups for women. And we're going to talk about her journey of how did she get from, little girl to being this like incredible woman who inspires so many people with her amazing podcast. But more importantly, how she comes to have these mastermind groups that affect so many women from around the world, me in particular, because I'm the one who really matters here. So without further ado, I want to welcome Dr. Azriela Jankovic, also known as Dr. Ozzy, into the hub. So hi, Azriela.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Chana.
So it's so great to have you. And I see that you're in your car, and I was wondering if you could tell us, why is it you're in your car right now?
Yes, I'm in my car because we are road tripping in Israel. We're on a little staycation. We came up to the gorgeous coast, Herzliya, to see this incredible ancient castle that's perched on the bluff here. And we're just spending the whole day out in this amazing, amazing beach.
I didn't even know there was a castle on the beach. Now I have to go.
Yeah, so it's called Apollonia, and it goes back to the Hellenistic period, and it was taken over time and again by various cultures, and there are remnants still there. It's pretty incredible.
Wow. Amazing. Okay. So I was wondering, I keep telling people in my emails, in my courses, like somehow your mastermind groups always seem to come up in many conversations that I have with people, because I've gained so much from being in a space with other entrepreneurs who are also growing together. Something's clicking. So is it me or you? No, yeah. I think let go of your mic and you're good. Just let go of your mic and you're good.
I'm going to put it in now. It wasn't even in.
Got it.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. So I'm in this group of, usually there's about 12 of us who are all growing together and clarifying our goals and supporting each other as we make our businesses incredible. And you get to just kind of create this beautiful space for that. But I don't think I ever really asked you, can you tell us about your journey? Like, how did you get to this place?
Absolutely. So I've always believed in entrepreneurship. So since the very early days of my marriage, I inspired my husband to start a business. He is a real idealist, a filmmaker. And I thought it would be an amazing idea. I think there's so much room in the world for creativity. And I've gone on my own entrepreneurial journey over the years. I was an educator for many years, and I would be approached by various families, usually of the children in class who were somehow falling behind, to come to their homes, get to know the families, coach them a little bit. And I just came into coaching. And I love so much watching people transform. And I believe very much that the transformation is the result of two things. First of all, what we believe and what we think, which I know resonates with you because this is the work that you do as well. And also the relationships that we have, because we are such social beings. So on my own entrepreneurial journey, having this in mind and having utilized motivation science and all sorts of tricks, the traits to help my students stay inspired, I felt that there was a space for more connectivity among entrepreneurs, that we could really come together and motivate one another, support one another in really meaningful ways. And I just started testing it out, and you were there when I started. So here we are a year later. And it's just incredible. It's really incredible. I think it is the answer to so many of the struggles that an entrepreneur can have.
It's interesting hearing you talk about the connection and the support, because one of the things that's challenging as an entrepreneur is just feeling kind of lonely, particularly as a woman. It's not like I'm going to the office with a million other people. I'm working from home, and thank God now I have this incredible assistant, Natalie. But at the beginning of my journey, I didn't. And so it's just like it was almost like a vacuum chamber where I didn't really get feedback from other people. And I didn't have a place where I could say, oh, wow, I created this entire campaign and nobody signed up, which happened a few times, or people signed up, but not the number I was expecting, or, hey, guys, I did this thing. Can you give me feedback? And just to not feel alone is a really big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, imagine, Chana, imagine if you were going to be running in a race around a track, right? Right. You're running around the track in some kind of like running race, and nobody were in the audience to cheer you on. How would that feel? It's like we are here on this incredible journey, and such beautiful things can come out of entrepreneurship, especially with these purpose-driven women like yourselves. And there is a tremendous power of support and of applause, and people to pull you up when you're falling behind, and people to cheer with you and celebrate with you when you are having those wins.
So I have a question for you, because I'm definitely noticing that from when we first started our groups to now, that you're more strategic in how you use the time that we have together. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about that for someone who's never been in a mastermind group, doesn't know what a mastermind group is. Can you give us like a little bit more of an insight into like how you create that space, let's say on a given day?
Absolutely. So I think when I initially started out, I wasn't as aware as I am today of the power of structure, right? We have structures, and within the structures, we can have so much movement and so much freedom. And so there's really a specific model that I have created that works really well in these groups. And I think that if anyone wants to create their own mastermind group, or, change the way that their group is running, I think it makes a lot of sense. So I always like to start with a meditation, and tremendous things can happen when we take just a few deep breaths. And then you go add visualization and really powerful exercises to do the inner work to start out. And pretty soon there's a certain level of synchronicity within the group where we're all in a really mindful, thoughtful place together. And it's a big high to start out like that. For me, I love watching the transformation that takes place.
Especially because we're on Zoom in different places. So how do you get everybody vibing when they're not even in the same room?
It's been really powerful. It's been incredible to watch that happen. And after that, there are all sorts of activities that we do. And I've just found that the more clear I am about time and about structure and about exactly what it is that our goals are, the better results I see in the group. And, Brene Brown says to be clear is really kind. Like just this clarity that oftentimes in a leadership position, leaders can be hesitant to be clear or give too much direction for fear of being sort of dominant. And yet, oftentimes people want guidance, especially when we're in a group. We don't want chaos. We really want cohesion. And there's so many ways to do it. So I love using my teaching background and bringing that to this forum and watching the magic happen. It's really incredible.
So if we could get down to like a little bit more specific, can you share with us one exercise that you do inside of the group that could be something that, me, Jane in the Vitality Hub,
absolutely
can apply to my life, even if it's just on my own or together with like a friend of mine or something like that?
Absolutely. So I'm going to give you 2 question words that you can use anytime. And the power of these words is using the words, but then also making space to listen. Because one of the greatest gifts that we can give another person is to be a space for them. So one of the most incredible things that I like to start off by doing in the mastermind is by doing a why exercise, where we talk about, what are your goals? So what's your goal for the next 3 months? Everyone listening can do this now. And then what for? What is this for? What do you want to do it for? What is your why? Why do you want to do it? And just let everything, first thought, best thought, stream of consciousness flow out from you. And the partner who's on the listening end simply sits and listens to remember. When the speaker finishes talking about their why, sharing their why, the listener asks again, why? And this goes on, that the listener's job seems simple. It's just asking why and then being space. But it's more, you've done this before. It's a little more challenging than it may sound. We're so used to listening and formulating responses right away and, being in this interactive mode. But simply listening, taking that time to be the space is challenging, can be challenging, but it's so rewarding for everyone involved. So that's number one. And then number two is asking how. So we are always surrounded by people who know things that we do not. Everyone we meet knows something that we don't. And if we become curious about our world, we can learn all the time from anyone. So my favorite question when I come upon something that I'm interested in learning more about or understanding or learning how to do is the how question. Asking how something is done and then really taking the time to listen. And most people, whether they're someone you're meeting randomly or really someone who you look to as a mentor, a lot of people will be there to explain and be there to give advice. People love to give advice. So that's a great way to learn from anyone any day.
I know for me, when we did the why exercise the first time, I got pretty close to tears by the end because I touched such a deep place. Like for me, my why, I'm happy to share it. I don't know why I'm sharing it, but it feels
Chana,
meaningful.
I remember that so clearly.
Like for me, it was like, that like all the pain I've ever gone through in my life should have meaning and purpose. That was like so clear that like I could, help one person out of their pain through everything I had to do to get out of mine. Like that's huge. Huge.
And you're doing it, and you're totally doing it. And it's powerful because you tapped into that in such a profound way. And once that happens, after that moment, do you feel like you were more equipped for any of the challenges that could come along or the roadblocks or the detours? Like, what did that do for you?
It pulled me out of my ego. Whenever I remember, okay, what's my why? What's my purpose? So then it's like, okay, if I'm here to serve people and I'm helping people get out of their pain and I'm helping create meaning and purpose in the story of my life. So then like, it's less about, oh, okay, I have to send this email and what if people don't like it? That just feels so petty in the presence of this massive purpose. And I think that's what we often do is we make the small things that are not that important, we make them like irrationally important. But then the things that are actually important, we kind of shove to the side. And so here it was like the really important thing is that I want to live a life of meaning and purpose and take my pain and make it meaningful and help other people. It's like, that's huge. But sometimes people are like, oh yeah, that doesn't matter so much. Really what matters is if I send out an email and somebody doesn't like it. And it's like, okay, no, that's like backwards. So that's been huge for me. That's been really helpful.
It's so incredible to find that diamond on the inside, and it's so strong. It's so, but for every single person, every single one of us, and I think the more, for those of you listening, the more you can allow whatever is there on your mind, on your consciousness to flow out. And you don't have to do this with a partner. You can record yourself, you can even journal it, and just allow everything to come out without judging it at all. Like really make a space for all of your thoughts and all of your feelings and anything that comes up. And that's where you get the good stuff.
I also really, we've done the how type of exercises a bunch because, every time I have a new goal, so it's like there's more hows that, have to answer that goal, which is a little bit different than like my big life's purpose. And I'm always amazed at how every woman in the group is coming from different life experience, different focus, different expertise. And there are people who have a lot more technical savvy or a lot more business savvy, but then there are other people who have insights about just like hearing your voice. And so I noticed that, you know, my focus is more on like design and presentation and language sometimes. And I might have business tools to offer someone, but there are other people with more business tools. So I don't know, it's just like everybody has different insights that you can't be in a vacuum. And what's interesting is that so many women in the group can very easily imagine themselves being the customer or actually are the customer of the other women in the group. And so we can give feedback as a customer, but like as a more insightful customer, because a lot of times customers don't actually tell you the truth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's the power of creating a space like this and being really upfront about the importance of feedback. You know, the lack of feedback is one of the biggest thing that holds companies back, is that managers and people in positions of authority are actually unsure how or even afraid to give meaningful feedback. And yet it's the meaningful feedback that enables growth and development and these benchmarks to be met. So in this space, when we're just really clear about it and we accept all of it and we learn how to give feedback in a constructive way, it makes a huge difference.
Amazing. So I know that you want to go back to your family into this incredible castle. So I just want to ask you one more question, which is,
Sure.
for months now, I've been raving about my mastermind group and people are like, oh, wow, okay, can I join? And I'm like, no, it's a closed group. Like, that's it. But I know that you have more cohorts coming up in September. So I was
Yes.
wondering if you could tell us about that.
I am so excited that for the first time I'm launching new groups, and I'm doing the groups globally. So they're going to be in different time zones. And I have, the application is actually out. The applications are out now. And what we're going to be doing is putting women in complementary groups. So it's all going to be done very intentionally. And it's this 12-week journey where we meet once a week. And we have that structured meeting that I facilitate to really facilitate the development of meaningful relationships as a foundation for the support and the growth that can happen within that context. And then all sorts of activities to tap into your purpose, also to tap into the value of the work that you're doing and to start noticing the value, to start setting goals, really specific goals, in a way that's going to propel you forward and keep you motivated and keep you inspired. And also to set up a system of self-reflection so that as you move forward in your journey, you'll be able to have built-in tools for accepting all kinds of feedback, accepting the successes and the so-called failures as learning experiences, and channeling all of that into both your progress and the progress of those that you serve and help with whatever you do now or whatever it is that you're envisioning doing in this new year.
Amazing. Wow. So I put in the chat, I put a link to the group, and it's here also down below where my fingers are. But I also noticed that for some reason when I put things in the chat, it goes into YouTube, but it doesn't seem to go into Facebook. Maybe. Okay, no, I can't seem to fix how to make the link go on Facebook. So if somebody can copy the link, put it on Facebook, or I'll put it in the show notes afterwards. So you can go check out Azriela's mastermind groups and apply if it's something that you're interested in. And yeah, I would just love to see more people join these groups. It's incredible. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving us your time here and for giving us a little peek of the sunshine that you're experiencing now. And please enjoy the rest of your day.
Chana, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye.